There is this important book which I find very important. I find it very intriguing. A book of two writers, Gregory A. and L. Larson. The name of the book is Matrix, Setting Your Mind Free to Experience Real Life in Christ. And I find intriguing because I myself have wrestled with things, with feelings, with thoughts, which I thought they were real. I thought they were true. Because they felt real, I thought they were also true. And how many of us do not think that when it feels so good, when it feels so real, when it feels so genuine, when you experience something and you feel it, you feel the fear, you feel the anxiety, you feel the shame, and you think it's real. Think about shame, for example. You can be entangled in shame, and shame does something to yourself, to your true identity. Shame is rooted in yourself, and guilt is rooted in what you do. But how many of us do not think that these feelings of shame, anxiety, guilt, which we experience through the ears, as real feelings, as real sensations, are not true? We think it feels so real and therefore it must be true. You feel so ashamed, and you are very aloof in a participation, in a conversation with your colleagues. You feel ashamed to open your mouth. You feel so aloof and you don't want to participate in that conversation. And therefore you must think, it is true. It is real equals it is truth. It is real equals it is truth. And this is the lie of the matrix. And this is the thing, this is the theme, the topic, which is elaborated on an exceptional manner by the two authors, Gregory A. and L. Larson, in the book Matrix. I highly recommend this book. I have read it myself and I'm scheming through it again, and I'm just, it's fantastic. Because, as I said, for example, let me give another example. You feel guilty when you are coming up for yourself. You feel guilty when you're coming up for yourself in a conversation with your partner. Oh, it's not me, it's the other. I'm nothing. These are the thoughts are popping up, these thoughts. I'm nothing. The other is only important and I am not important. And I feel guilty when I say, no, I have my own vision on things, my own boundaries. I'm an individual made, conformed, morphed into the image of God, so I have my say in things. But you begin to assert yourself, to being assertive to your partner, and you feel guilty. Why? Why? Where does it come from? Is this a feeling, a sensation which is genuine? Is it real and it is also truth? Or is this feeling of guilt for asserting yourself, is this feeling of guilt rooted in how it feels real? You feel the sensation real, you feel guilty, and it's not truth, but it's a lie. Is it the reality of feeling guilty truth? Or is the reality of feeling guilty a lie? Think about it. Is the reality of feeling guilty on that moment asserting yourself truth? Is it normal? Is it truth? Or is the reality of feeling guilty rooted in a lie? And I tell you, it can be rooted in a lie. I tell you, after reading this book, it opened my mind that not everything, not every sensation, feeling, emotion, thought, what it feels real is also truth, is also rooted in truth. Be careful with your emotions. Oh, but I feel so guilty, I feel so ashamed. Oh, it must be truth because it feels so real. No, that is not truth. That doesn't have to be truth. Let's go back to that example of one asserting himself or herself towards a partner, and he or she feels guilty. It can be that that person who feels guilty, for example, has some issues in the past. It can be a ripple effect of the past experience of asserting himself or herself. Imagine then when she was a child, she wanted to assert herself to her father or her mother. But her father or mother created in her feelings of guilt every time when she asserted herself. Mother, I want to go to my home. I feel exhausted. I want to go just for a while to come by to have some rest. I feel a little bit exhausting after exercising on school so long. Mother, please, I want to go to my room to take some rest. The mother says, no way you should be feeling guilty now. How dare you go into your room to rest? Don't you think, little child, that you have to make your exercise for tomorrow, to make your homework for tomorrow? How dare you go into your room? No way, little child. No way, girl. Go to your room and make your homework now, right now. What do you think that person who said to that little girl, what do you think that that person would have engendered in the heart, in the mind, in the feeling of the child? Guilt. You see, the relationship guilt. She asserted herself. She wanted to take some rest. She wanted to go to her room to take some rest after exercising on school so hardly. But she was not allowed to assert herself. Assertion became associated with guilt. These two became one. Assertion of herself became associated with guilt. This done was still in the life of that little girl. And when she grew up, she wanted to assert herself when she was married with a man. And she said, for instance, to that husband, I want to go to my room to take some rest after working this day, and I feel like I have to take some to rest. So I'm going to my room. And what do you think if the man has said, why now? Why you have to go now, right now? This would have triggered into her very life senses, feelings of guilt, because it's a reaction of the guilt she experienced with her mother, when she was a child. You see the relationship? Because the done was deal, the deal was done, then she experienced then guilt with her mother, and now she experienced guilt with her husband. It's the same. And she felt, and the worst part of this is that these sensations felt on that moment so heavy, real. Sensations of guilt. Oh yes, I feel guilt. So I feel guilt now when I say that, so it must be truth. I don't have to go to my room to rest. I have to do what my husband says now, right now. What my husband is now a little bit cranky, or maybe, and he says that, and I have to do what he says now, because it must be real. It feels so real. It feels guilt, so I do what, as a little child, she did what the mother said. She felt guilty. She went not to rest. So when she was grown up, she did the same. She felt guilty, and she precisely didn't assert herself to her husband. That's the problem of the matrix. The matrix is a system. It's a lie. It's an experience which is spooled over your eyes when it is triggered in your life by circumstances, by persons, by emotions. These emotions can be triggered suddenly by circumstances or persons, and are rooted in your past experiences. And when you are triggered, it feels so real. And when you are triggered, you mostly think that because it is feel real, it must also be truth. And that is the lie of the matrix.